Every February 14th, millions of people around the world buy chocolates, wrap them in ribbons, and give them to someone they love. It feels like one of those traditions that has always existed, like blowing out candles on birthday cakes. But if you stop and think about it, the question becomes interesting. Why chocolate? Why not bread, fruit, or any other food? Why did chocolate in particular become the symbol of romance on Valentine's Day? The answer is a mix of history, culture, marketing, and human psychology, stretching back centuries and crossing different continents. Today, we're going to explore how this sweet tradition began and why it continues to matter. Let's dive in, right here, on History of Simple Things. Valentine's Day itself existed long before chocolate became part of the celebration. The holiday's connection to romance can be traced back to medieval Europe, where poets and writers began linking the day to courtly love. One of the earliest references appears in the works of Geoffrey Chaucer in the 14th century, which helped shape the idea of Valentine's Day as a romantic occasion. At that time, however, sugar was expensive and rare, so people did not exchange candy or sweets. Instead, expressions of love were often written in letters, poems, or songs. The romantic spirit of the holiday was already present, but the material gifts associated with it would develop much later as societies changed and new industries emerged. The real turning point came in the 19th century, especially during the Victorian era in Britain. By the 1840s, Valentine's Day had become widely celebrated in English-speaking countries, and people began exchanging elaborate cards, gifts, and keepsakes. This was also a time when industrialization made certain goods, including sugar and chocolate, more accessible to the middle class. The Victorians valued symbolism and sentimentality, and they loved gifts that carried emotional meaning. Chocolate, which had once been a luxury drink reserved for the wealthy, was becoming more affordable and more widely enjoyed. This combination of romantic culture and expanding access to sweets created the perfect conditions for chocolate to enter the Valentine's Day tradition. One of the most important figures in this story was Richard Cadbury, a British chocolatier who helped transform chocolate from a drink into a popular edible treat. In the 1860s, improvements in chocolate making allowed companies to produce smoother and better-tasting chocolate, and the process left extra cocoa butter that could be used to make new kinds of confections. Cadbury recognized an opportunity. Around 1868, he began selling chocolates in beautifully decorated, heart-shaped boxes designed specifically for Valentine's Day. These boxes were often decorated with cupids, roses, and romantic imagery, and they were meant to be kept and reused as containers for letters or keepsakes. This idea linked chocolate directly to romance in a way that had never been done before, and the concept spread quickly to other chocolate makers. Chocolate was not just convenient to package and sell. It already carried a certain romantic reputation. For centuries, chocolate had been considered exotic and luxurious, partly because cacao originally came from Central and South America and was rare in Europe. Some cultures even believed chocolate had aphrodisiac qualities, meaning it was thought to stimulate feelings of love or attraction. Whether or not these beliefs were scientifically accurate, the association stuck in popular imagination. Chocolate also has sensory qualities that make it appealing in romantic contexts. It melts easily, has a rich flavor, and is often shared slowly rather than eaten quickly. All of these factors help chocolate feel like a special, intimate gift rather than just another snack. Once chocolate companies saw how successful Valentine's packaging could be, other manufacturers followed. In the early 20th century, major brands introduced iconic products that reinforced the connection between chocolate and romance. Hershey's Kisses appeared in 1907, and boxed assortments from companies like Whitman's and Russell Stover became popular gifts in the decades that followed. Heart-shaped boxes became a recognizable symbol of Valentine's Day, and millions were sold each year. As advertising expanded through magazines, posters, and later television, the message became simple and powerful. Chocolate meant love. Over time, this message became so familiar that many people began to see chocolate as an essential part of the holiday, rather than a relatively recent tradition. As Valentine's Day spread globally, different countries developed their own customs around giving chocolate. In Japan, for example, the tradition evolved so that women often give chocolate to men on February 14th, including romantic partners, friends, and even co-workers. This practice grew partly from marketing campaigns in the mid-20th century and later developed into different categories of gifts, such as obligation chocolate and chocolates given to close friends. A month later, on March 14th, known as White Day, men traditionally return gifts. These variations show that while chocolate remains central to the holiday, the meanings and customs surrounding it can change depending on culture and social expectations. So why do we give chocolate on Valentine's Day? It comes down to a mix of history and human behavior. The holiday grew from medieval ideas of romantic love. The Victorian era turned it into a gift-giving tradition, and Richard Cadbury helped link chocolate to romance through heart-shaped boxes. Over time, advertising and cultural beliefs about chocolate made it a universal symbol of affection. Today, giving chocolate isn't just about candy, it's a simple way people express love, a tradition shaped by centuries of history and culture. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.